The default filter in Tableau doesn't have that many customization options. But by using a multi-value parameter, we can create our own custom labels to filter like this. Since we'll be filtering by category, I'll create a parameter and call it category param. For the data type, I want it to be a string, and I want to leave the current value empty. Then I'll create a calculated field and call it label select. In here, I'll type contains parentheses the category param, comma, the category. This calculated field will return true when it's selected and false when it's not. I'll create another calculated field and call it label name. This first line I'm typing out checks if the parameter list already includes the category. If it does, then it replaces it with nothing. And if it doesn't, then it adds it to the list. So it's saying if the parameter list already includes the category, then remove it. Otherwise, add it. To build the structure, I'll move category into the columns and type 0 into the rows. Under the marks, I'm going to drag both the label name and select fields. And I want select to determine the color under the label. So I'll change that to a color. I also drag category into the marks twice. To use this filter as a legend as well, I'm going to change one of the categories to a color. And I'll change the other category to a label. To make the underlining slightly thicker, I'm going to change it from a bar to a Gantt bar. I'll also get rid of the header for category. And I'll remove the 0 lines for the sheet, the access rulers for the sheet, and the grid lines for the rows. And I'll get rid of our other header as well, so we're left with just the labels and the underline. On a dashboard, I'll bring our label worksheet in, hide the title, and resize. To add the functionality, I'll go to the dashboard tab at the top and hit actions. And I'll add a parameter action. I'll call this label param. And for the source sheet, I just want to use the label worksheet. I'll target the category param and use the label name as the source field. Now when I click on one of the labels, it turns to an orange color. This is because I just turned the software value from false to true. So first I'll set these all to false, and then I'll edit the colors and choose white for all the falses. This way the underline essentially disappears when it's not selected. And then I'll turn these all to true and edit the colors. And I'm going to choose the same colors I have for my chart, so that our filter also acts as a legend. So our chart has subcategories, but it's colored by categories, which match the category colors for the filter. Now when I click on one, it grays all the other ones out. So I'm going to go back to our worksheet and create a calculated field called true with the value true in it. I'll create another calculated field for false with the value false in it. And I'll drag these two fields into the marks. Going back to the dashboard, I'll do dashboard actions again. And this time add a filter action. I'll call this label no high, and I only want the label worksheet to be the source sheet. For the target sheet, I'll drop down and choose the label worksheet. I want the action to run on selecting it, and I want to show all values when the selection is cleared. For the selected fields, I'll do the source field as true, and the target field as false. And now we can interact with it without having any highlighting. But it's not filtering the chart yet. So I'll go to the worksheet with our chart on it and drag label select into the filters. And I'll set this to true. And now we have a custom label filter that allows us to filter on any chart. And it also acts as a legend in this case.